Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCombe, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This might be the very last time this man makes an appearance on this radio station because here in the next, even now, this man's life will revolve around the whims of one LeBron James. As Tony Jones from The Athletic, covering the Philadelphia 76ers, longtime Salt Lake City resident, kind enough to join us. TJ, how you doing?
This will not be the last time I'm on this show.
You're going to have laundry to pick up, bro.
Let's just not be dramatic. Come on now.
Oh, man. When I saw that news, I was like, oh, my first thought was, Tony, I love you, buddy. My prayers are for you. I got you.
Dude, it's actually pretty awesome, right? I mean, it is a lot. It's going to be a lot of work, but I mean, why is everything always about you, Tony?
It'll be a lot of work, and it'll be. Listen, I don't think there's a secret that LeBron James is my favorite basketball player ever. So it's going to be. I'm going to take the next 2 months to work on my professionalism, and then and then I'm going to be ready to go. But I will repeat, the lengths that I will go to make time for you guys will always be studied. So this will not be the last time I'm on.
I love it, man.
In the annals of history, man.
We appreciate that. You know, the thing is, Philadelphia had a good roster. They had, I think Mike Gansey might be the executive of the year, and he hasn't even been with the team for a single regular season game yet.
Executive of the year off of
the Paul George
1 month. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you look at this, if you look at this off season, and you look at what Gansey and Jameer Nelson, because Jameer Nelson's had a really big part in this. If you look at what those two guys have done, not only did they get the big stuff right, like obviously the Jaylen Brown trade, and then LeBron. I don't want to say falls in their laps because they really worked on the recruitment of him. But they got the small stuff right. They kind of stole Anthony Simons from the Miami Heat. That he was supposed to go to Miami, and Jameer pulled off a really, really good recruiting job to get Anthony to sign with the Sixers. And Dean Wade, that was Gansey all the way because those two had a relationship headed back to Cleveland. KCP is LeBron, so we got to give LeBron credit to KCP. But if you look at those two ways, Gansey and Jameer signed Caleb Love and Ryan Rupert both the two ways. Both of those guys played real NBA minutes last year. Caleb Love for Portland. We know Caleb Love because he played for Arizona. And Ryan Rupert from Memphis. He had a 30-point triple-double in Memphis back in March. So, all up and down the roster, they weren't real. There was a dearth of real NBA players through the depth parts of the roster last year when it came to the Sixers, and they've got real NBA players and real NBA rotation players up and down the roster this year.
What have you been able to glean from the recruiting process and kind of what it went into it? I know LeBron had made comments about things that were important to him, but the way I look at this, I mean, this was his best chance to win for sure.
Well, Joel Embiid promised LeBron that he'd be in shape.
There you go.
That happened. And I'm sure the Sixers fans are now like, so what about the other 11 years? But, that's neither here nor there. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. We had it yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So there was that. But listen, LeBron has been long fond of Tyrese Maxey and vice versa. Those two guys, have worked out for a long time with the same trainer, Chris Johnson. They actually got a workout in yesterday together, and they have been not really talking about playing together because it really didn't seem like it was an obvious thing that would happen. But there's the clutch connection with them as well as with Nick Nurse, obviously KCP. But Tyrese Maxey has been somebody that LeBron has admired for a long time, and I can see LeBron, using Maxey the way that he did, 10 years ago with Kyrie Irving when they were with Cleveland. So, I think that LeBron will be good for Tyrese, and I think that Tyrese will be good for LeBron. And I think that, when you look at Tyrese last year and you watched him last year, yeah, he had a great season, but he was doing it with, teams, really keyed into stopping him. And he's going to have space and, people drawing gravity away from him this year, kind of like he hasn't had in a few years.
So Miami's Miami. It's, a gorgeous place to play, especially if you're wealthy. You got the weather, the city of Miami. You've got the nostalgia factor of Cleveland. Philadelphia just, look, it's not the best city to live in terms of weather. It has no real emotional connection. It's, I guess, somewhat close to New York, so I guess you can talk about some ties to the Big Apple. But other than that, this seems like it was just about winning for LeBron.
Yeah, the Sixers had the best roster and the best chance for him to win. The only other roster that gave him that kind of chance to win, in my opinion, would have been Minnesota. We all know he wasn't going to Minnesota.
No.
He is not dragging that documentary crew to Minneapolis. So, I think we all said it, and we were still surprised, but we all said it. Like, listen, LeBron is actually serious about winning a championship. He's saying this is about winning a championship and about what his best chance of winning is. It's Philadelphia. Miami's roster is incomplete. Davion Mitchell is the point guard. I love Off Night like a brother, but he's a middling starting point guard. They have a lack of shooting, and then Cleveland has James Harden. And I know LeBron ain't trying to hitch his wagon to James Harden. So if it were about winning, it was Philadelphia. And even under that, guys, I think we were all still shocked that he actually chose Philadelphia because we really underestimated just how much it was about winning. Turned out to be 100% about winning. I thought it was like, 50, 60% winning, couple of percentages where your family wants to live, nostalgia, maybe the opportunity to play with Giannis and, maybe get that roster in enough shape to win in year two. No, it was about winning. And LeBron put his money where his mouth is because he went to Philadelphia because I think that this is by far the most volatile choice that he could have made. There is a really, really, really high ceiling with the fan base and LeBron about how this can go, but there is a low floor if this doesn't go well.
So back to the elephant in the room, and the elephant would be the 7-foot, 270-pound Joel Embiid, who has played 96 of a possible 246 games in the last 3 years. And, he has had some bad luck with injuries, but I have been one that said he's never been in shape, and I don't know how much he cares. Do you think LeBron can impact that?
Let's put it this way. If Joel doesn't have his body and, as good a shape as he can possibly get it in this year, is never going to happen. And, this is his best chance to win. Like, the Sixers have this roster has a real chance to win, and I would be surprised if LeBron doesn't play 2 years. I think, I know that the second year is a player option, but I think he's going to give himself 2 years and give himself a chance to really win one. This is a roster that is capable of winning it all. I think it's one of the 4 most talented rosters in the league, and that 4 being, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Thunder, and the Spurs, no particular order. And Joel, I don't think that this team needs Joel Embiid in the regular season. I think that Joel Embiid can play 0 games in the regular season, and this roster can still win 50 games. But I 100% absolutely believe that this team needs Joel Embiid to win a championship. They need him to be a 16-game player and not an 82-game player. Watching him and covering him last year, he is an incredible offensive talent. I mean, he does things for a 7-footer that no 7-footer should ever in a million years be able to do. His body consistently breaks down. There are the lower body injuries. There's, all sorts of health scares. There was an appendectomy, which is just like kind of crazy in terms of how unlucky he has been as well. But this is his chance to really, buckle down, get in shape, stay in shape. He's not going to play 65 games. He's probably not going to play 55 games. But if you can get 50 games out of him, play 50 games and be in as good a shape as humanly possible for a 16-game run, he has a chance to take this roster to the stratosphere just because of how unique he is offensively. His problem right now is defensively because the lower body injuries have, really robbed him of his lateral movement, and that's really hurt him in pick and roll coverage. And the Knicks really honed in on that in the second round last year, and just kind of put him in a blender at any chance that they could get. So, that's going to be something that the Sixers are going to have to figure out, especially if they get the Knicks at some point in the playoffs, or they get a team that has 5 players like the Knicks who can, just kind of all dribble, pass, and shoot and put you in a blender. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Joel approaches this season.
Relatively healthy Joel Embiid with this 76er team against the Knicks in a 7-game series. How do you feel like that goes?
So last year was a sweep.
Yeah.
I would still probably go Knicks in 7. I think that the Sixers do have some advantages this year, which is mainly like last year, the Knicks could hide Jalen Brunson on Kelly Oubre Jr. and mainly get away with it. And they can't do that this year because of just how many great players are in that lineup. That matchup becomes VJ Escom, and VJ will cook them. So that becomes a little bit different. There's no Mitch Robinson, and that becomes that's going to hurt the Knicks some because them not having Mitch Robinson coming in off the bench, grabbing every single offensive rebound, blocking shots, playing above the rim. And you're replacing that with Andre Drummond. And, I covered Andre last year. Really, really, really nice guy. He's not Mitch Robinson. So a lot more onus is going to go on the Karl Anthony Towns. I would still favor the Knicks and say the Knicks in 7, but that's a much, much, much closer series this year than it was last year.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
I've been talking about the problem that Maxey and Edgecombe are for the league, their ability. They're a dynamic crew. You add Jaylen Brown to that. As about as good a guard trio as exists, I think, in the NBA.
Yeah.
Your thought?
Yeah. I mean, you can go San Antonio with Fox and Harper and Stephen Castle. But outside of that, I mean, Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Esham, that's as good and athletic and dynamic a perimeter trio as you're probably going to get. And I think there's going to be some onus, in my opinion, on, LeBron to just be a playmaker. I think that this is going to be the first time in his NBA life that he does not average 20 points a game in a season. And I think that it's on Joel Embiid to kind of fill in the blanks where needed and let those three guys go. Like, let them run, let them cook off the dribble on the perimeter, let them, those guys are durable guys. Let them be regular season innings eaters. And, LeBron and Joel both kind of, fill in the blanks when needed, where needed. And then, those guys can be ready to kind of assert themselves once you get to the playoffs because, Maxey and Jaylen Brown are both in their primes. They're 28-point-per-game scorers last season. VJ Esham is somebody who I think has a chance to be an all-star in this league. And, and I think it's going to be really incumbent on Nick Nurse to figure out VJ Esham from the standpoint of, blending him in with, the older guys, but also getting him on-ball reps so that he can develop. Because I always thought that, watching him, he has a chance to one day be Anthony Edwards. And, he's not going to have that kind of runway in terms of on-ball usage, obviously. But they still need to get him enough on-ball usage that, he stays on his development path, that he set for himself in his rookie season.
The great Tony Jones with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You've had a chance to watch some Summer League. You saw A.J. DeBonsa. You saw Darren Peterson. You saw some of these other guys. Obviously, people love to overreact over what they saw in the middle of July. But were there some things that you can take away that you can project into the regular season from some of these guys?
Yeah, with Darren, I thought that he was put in a tough spot because he didn't have as many NBA players around him as A.J. DeBonsa and Cameron Boozer. Cameron Boozer had a full lineup of NBA players around him, and at least for that first game, so did A.J. DeBonsa, and Darren Peterson had Cody Williams. So, I think that a lot of people talked about, Darren's turnovers and all of that stuff, but it was just a different deal for him than it's going to be in the regular season. He's obviously going to be surrounded by NBA players in the regular season. He's going to have NBA spacing, and he wasn't afforded that in Summer League. That being said, I thought that Darren showed an amazing ability to get to his spots, real ability to handle the basketball. He showed some passing chops, obviously, in the Salt Lake Summer League. He did some really, really good things this summer. A.J. DeBonsa, I don't think that, we've seen a physical force come into the league from the small forward spot in a while. I mean, he's even more of a physical force than Cooper Flagg is in terms of, rim pressure, playing above the rim and just doing things 6'9", 6'10", that guys his size should not be doing. And Cameron Boozer is as advertised, just a really great intellectual thinker on the floor, terrific rebounder, really skilled had one of the best summer leagues out of anybody in the NBA. So, it's quite the top three, and I really, I'm really looking forward to seeing them translate to the regular season.
You have covered the Jazz a long time, and obviously with the Walker Kessler situation, the Jazz are going to kind of attack that center position by committee. Knowing what you know of the guys they have and their plan to do that, how do you think that will go?
Yeah, it's going to be different. I think that Nurk will start just because of his ability to blend in with the offense, his ability to distribute from the nail and run the DHOs that Will Hardy likes. I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. will make his way to the 5 a lot this season, even though he can't rebound. We're going to see some Jackson Hayes as well. So, it's losing Walker is going to hurt the regular season. The regular season feeling. I thought that this team with Walker Kessler could have ended up third in the West. I thought that highly of them, and now I think that they'll end up 6th in the West with a ceiling of 5th, and they could very well be a playing team. But if you're a Jazz fan, just think of the haul that you got for Walker. Because Austin Ames took everything but the Hollywood sign off of Rob Pelinka in that trade, but it will hurt a little bit in the short term. So I still think that the Jazz are going to be one of my top 5 league pass teams this year because I think that Keontae and Lowry and Jaren, that's a real good 3. Add in, the young guys in Darren Peterson and Ace Bailey. That's a team that still has a really good chance to do some really good things. And I got to throw in Kyle Filipowski as well. I think that he'll be in the mix at the 5 as well. So it's going to be really interesting to watch the Jazz, and it'll be really fun to see them try to win this year.
Yeah, I just want to circle back to one thing you said. You're right. Jaren Jackson has not been a very good rebounder, numbers-wise. You feel like that is something with a new look and kind of that need that he could get better at, or you've watched him enough to know that's just not in his bag?
Oh, no, he's never going to rebound the ball. No, he's like Mo Taylor. But he's going to do a ton of other ththings. Like he's a nuclear weapon offensively. Especially at the 5. Like if you put him at the 5 and you're going to spread out whatever team that you're playing against, and he's a great rim protector. The 2 things that he doesn't do, he doesn't rebound and he doesn't play without foul. So those are the 2 things that have held him back and have stopped him. Those are the 2 things that have capped him at being an all-star. If he could rebound and if he could stay on the floor without fouling, we might be talking about an MVP candidate at that point, and he wouldn't have been available for the Jazz to even trade for. But he's a guy that's really unique offensively for a 7-footer. Can handle the ball like a guard. Can really shoot it. Can really pass it. He can play, facing the basket. He can post you up. He can play with both hands. He's kind of ambidextrous down there on the block. So he can do, just so many things that are advantageous to you offensively. And I think that he and Lauri Markkanen are going to be a heck of a forward tandem.
The quality of pickup players, how much better is it in Philadelphia as opposed to Salt Lake City?
It's better in Salt Lake City for one reason. It's it's still good out in Philadelphia. I still play with good players and I still play consistently. But I was in Salt Lake City for 17 years, and I was a lot more known there. And long story short, I always got the invite to the pro runs. So, when the overseas guys and the NBA guys and the college guys were playing, I was able to get invites and go and play with those guys. And, nobody really knows me in Philadelphia, so I actually have to play with actual regular common folks.
The peasants! Look at you.
They say that those that do, and those that can't coach. So I quit. I put up my shoes a long time ago, my guy. So you're playing for both of us. Go get them.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I'm going to go and get a couple of runs in tonight, so hopefully it goes well.
Well, good luck. Hopefully the family's well. Hopefully you'll be able to get in some time with them, because when the season starts, you probably won't see them until, May or June. So it's going to be a hell of a run for you for sure. We're excited for you. It should be interesting.
I've already told the wife that, A, don't expect me for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That's a given.
That's a given. And B, there were always times in the past where I could just skip road games. I'd go to 30 of the 41 road games. Those days are over. I'll be at all 41 road games this year.
Try to get on the documentary too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I like to see somebody on there I like.
I can see myself right now. Do you want me to look at this camera? Is this mic on?
Yeah. You're doing the Netflix documentary thing. All right.
Yeah.
Where am I looking?
Hi, I'm Tony Jones. You might recognize me from 24-Hour Fitness.
Absolutely.
TJ, you're the best, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, my guy.
See you, brother.
There he is. Man, the best dude on the planet. Tony Jones, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Yeah, his world's upside down. There's no doubt.
But think about, for him, it would be like for me, my GOAT is Michael Jordan, right? So
yeah.
You get a chance to cover Michael in his last season. That would be pretty awesome. I'm excited for Tony, but I also...
Maybe not that Wizard season.
No, that would have been tough to watch.
Yeah.
Wore 45 in that bad uniform, too.
Yeah.
Those were really bad uniforms.
Yeah, we just pretend like that never happened.
He looks so much better in the old Bullets uniforms, the West Unseld.
Yeah.
Those are tight.
All right, 1232, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Again, big thanks to Tony Jones for joining us. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
This episode sponsored by Minky Couture. Fair warning, bring a Minky Couture blanket home and it may instantly become the most wanted seat in the house. That's the magic of Minky Couture. Minky Couture created the original soft Minky blanket, trusted for premium quality and custom styles. One touch and movie nights, naps, and cold mornings suddenly revolve around who got to it first. Shop now at minkycouture.com. That's Minky, M-I-N-K-Y, Couture, C-O-U-T-U-R-E.com. Go to minkycouture.com and get your Minky Couture blanket now, before everyone in your house claims it is theirs.